devotion, and I am making large flowers. As you can see, I have a customer who ordered, she basically sent me a wedding dress, and what she wants is large flowers. And what she's going to do is she wants it so that she can put them on her Christmas tree. And yes, I know it's not Christmas, but she kept me really busy. The same customer kept me very, very busy during Christmas also. She basically ordered like, I don't know, I think she ended up ordering about 7 of my handmade angels. Those new angels that you might have seen during this last season were angel she orders. And these are the flowers that I came up with for her. I had one other gold one, but she really liked the white and red look because she gave me a white wedding dress, and then she gave me some what are they called? Some other dresses that it looks, they're all worn, so it looks like it's something that is from her memories, and she's creating it so that she can put them on her Christmas tree. And basically, that's what I've been doing. So what we're going to do is I am going to show you, first I want to show you guys some new embroidered laces. We're not going to take that long on them, but while people are coming on, I'll be showing those. And then after we're done with that, I am going to show you how I put together some of these flower components. I'm probably not going to make the whole flowers or all of them, but I want to show you some of how I'm preparing. She approved all of these, and let me show them to you. So this one is a beautiful, using her wedding dress, I made this big old beautiful flower. You can see the size of it. Let me get a ruler. I'm going to show them to you, then later I'm going to, I'll actually show you how I made most of them. At least most of it. You can see how large it is. See how large it is. So it's about larger than my hand. My hand, you can't see it under there. So it's beautiful. And so she's going to use them on her Christmas tree. She wanted a pick on them. So I actually have a wire pick. These are not completely done. I'm probably going to still go back and glue these down, but this is the biggest one I made, I think. And so I'm going to make a variety of white ones. With some of them will have lace because she also sent me some lace. The lace was not on the wedding dress. The wedding dress, let me see if I can show you a little piece here. The wedding dress actually had like about a dozen darts, like, or this in it, and then it had these beads all in it, and they were all folded up on the dress. It was really hard for me to get to the fabric. Um, and then what else? So that's that one. And then she also liked this combination of the white and the red, and I'll show you the dress in a later. Because when I'm going to cut the fabric, I'm going to show you how I did this one. And so this is a more of a darker red. It's not quite burgundy, but it's darker. It looks kind of brighter on my screen to me. Okay, and then I also made a full red one, which I will show you how I figured that one out too, because the dresses that she had, it only had like this, there got white all over them, which will help it. You can see, and I'll show you a little bit more about them, like I said, in a little bit. So those of you who are coming on, just know I am showing you uh, oops, the flowers that I've been making for a customer. I decided to come on and show you maybe some of the embroidered laces I have, and then also show you the flowers, and I will be showing you how to make these flowers. Okay, next, for the embroidered laces, I'm not going to take long. I don't usually take too long showing these things that I have, but I will show you these. I've already sold quite a bit of these because if you are in my Facebook group, you would have seen some of these already in the photos. And you might, if you bought some, let me know. So this is a pink sheer embroidered. Let me see if I can get it a little further out. See that? And it comes also in a blue. And now the prices on these, they're already listed in my shop. And these are, I don't know, I think the most expensive one was $6 a yard, but the others are range $5, $6 a yard, something like that. I don't know exact prices on them, but this is the pink one, and this is the blue one. Okay, those are two. Oh, they are like curtain material, so they are very wide. So you can cut these apart and use them as appliques. And let me show you a couple more. Now here's a pink. Oops. Another pink. I'm going to pull a couple up and then I'll kind of talk about them. And here's a purple. And here's a blue. Oop. Okay, let me pull one more because it's the same as that one. Okay, so look how it looks over the purple. Okay, so this blue one right here, you can see they're all sheer and they're all about the same width. They're not all exactly the same width, but they're pretty wide. And you can use this in your projects to embellish with. So this is the blue one and they're sheer. So you can, if you want to use them like a ruffle or on a dress or for curtains or anything like that, they're just gorgeous. And this same one comes in, also have a rosy type pink. This is more of a lighter pink. You can see how pretty those are. I'm not going to take too long. And this one is just purple. They'll have it on the right side. And sometimes it's hard to tell which is the right. Yep, I have it upside down. Okay, so you can see that. See the pretty colors. So each of these can be cut out individually. You can use them in any of your projects. And I sell them by the yard. Now, if anybody of you here, if you ask me for half a yard of several of them, then I'm sure I could probably help you with that. So here's this pink one. Is that the front or the back? Oh, that was the back. You see, they're really nice. See, pretty. So this one has the pink background. Usually when it has the background, let's say you want to put it on something. If you choose the same color as the netting, it will almost disappear under that background. So if you put it on white, I'll give you a little piece of the white wedding dress. You can see it'll still look slightly white. See, but it still looks pretty good over a white. Okay, those are those. Those are in my shop right now that you can purchase at any time. If you don't know how to get to my shop, there's always a link in the description box of the videos. So if you go to the description box, there's usually a link. Let me show you the next couple more. Okay, this one I've had for a long time, but I finally found a new supplier for it. And the colors, if the color is slightly more muted, but it's a gorgeous pink color. And this one is one of my popular ones. I've had it for a long time. It just was the quality of the last supplier I was using was pretty bad. So now I find a new supplier and I should keep this in stock for a while longer. It's gorgeous. That's a beautiful pink. And then as you could see, there's this is lavender. And again, the netting is a slight lavender. So if you put it on lavender, and all of these can be cut out. You can cut it, use parts of it in a project and a whole for a yard. I haven't priced it a yard. And then this is one of my favorites. Look how beautiful that is. Isn't that beautiful? Can you imagine cutting that out and using it in a project? And this one looks like the netting is white, so that will go over almost any white project. Okay, and one more, which it's hard to describe this one in my listing, so I wanted to make sure I showed it to you. This is a beautiful trim, and I don't know if I can get it. Let's see if it focuses well. One of the things I say about this one is that it has like this right here of the edging. It doesn't look like it's focusing. Let me focus that a little better. See, it'll focus. There, it focused. So this little edging right here, along here, this one, it actually has a little glitter to it, a little shine, like it has a little metallic thread. I'm not even sure if it's coming across on the video itself, but it has a little metallic thread, and it has like a magenta pink and a light pink. That pink almost looks white on the video, but this is a light pink and this is magenta pink. That's in my shop. Also, you can see how beautiful that is. Gorgeous. All right, was that all? I think that's it. I tell you, I don't like to take too long because you know what? I'm not so much only about selling my stuff, but I also like to teach. And one of the things I was doing is I'm so busy creating these dresses, I wasn't getting time to go on, and I said, well, I haven't gone on for a long time. So here I am. I'm on. Now, if you have questions and stuff, I'm probably not going to be looking at the messages. You can ask a question, I might see it, but I'm mostly going to just be showing you. You're going to be sitting in with me as I keep on finishing these, but I will show you some of the components of this. Okay, so the white ones. I have a pile of white flowers. As you can see, I have a lot of them because she ordered 50 of these. She must have a large tree. The wedding dress that I took apart, it has layers. I'm going to show you some of the layers. Yeah. So here's the wedding dress. That feels like it's too close. Let me move that away. Okay. So this, let me turn on a light. I don't know. Where's my light button? I don't know if you could see better that way. Okay, so with the wedding dress here, if you guys tell me if you guys could see okay, because to me it looks a little strange. Now, one of the things that happens to me sometimes, especially at night, my Wi-Fi goes out. So if my Wi-Fi goes out, it's a chance I may not come back. There's a chance I might come back. So, but I'm going to still show you what from beginning to end, what I did. Well, not to end, probably a lot of the components. So this is what the wedding dress looked like. As you can see, it was folded at every angle. It was really wide, but it was folded at every angle. It was hard to get to the fabric because from one to the other, it's not very wide. So I had to really try and get fabric out of here. And if you guys are wondering about a wedding dress, well, I do have a video on teaching you how to take one apart, because when I was a new crafter, I didn't know how, and when I was learning, I taught you guys a lot of things. And here it was folded, so I actually had to unfold all this, and I got fabric out of it. And this fabric, it was layered. It has actually 3 layers to it. So each layer actually works very well for flower making. This is the top layer. It's kind of a little bit thicker. It feels like a taffeta. This middle layer is more the thickness of a lining. So a lining that you might find in a jacket, coat, or anything. Those would go, that lining is very good to make flowers with. And then this other one, this is the part that would have been against her body. And it's a little more, it's not as pretty. Hi everyone. I'll introduce myself again. This is Liz. I'm from Crafty Devotion. In the beginning of this, I just showed you some new embroidered laces I have, but I am going to teach you how I made some gorgeous flowers. The flowers I'm making are, I'll show you one. This is one of the white ones. This is the one I made with this wedding dress here, and I will show you how I made it. At least most of the components I made, because it's a layered flower. So this is the wedding dress I took apart, and I've been using the material from the wedding dress. So my customer, well, I say last year, during the holidays, she had me make her, she sent me a really vintage, delicate wedding dress, and I made several angels for her out of that wedding dress. You will find photos of that on my page. So here are the flowers I made. Now, this one right here is really large. And this is made with 1 strip of fabric, but this is the lining material. The lining fabric really does a good job of making flowers. And what I do when I make flowers, I have to test the fabrics. She gave me some like dresses, probably she used to go out, and party and things like that, or, to a party to go out. And they were red. And they had different materials on them. One of them felt like almost like a rayon type, and the other was the shears that I'll show you in a bit. But the wedding dress, it has 3 different fabrics. So this is one of the fabrics, and I used it to make a very large, full, large flower. Okay, I have a bunch of them. I've been working on this all day today because, and this one, yes, this one actually is using the the fabric I showed you that went against her skin. It was still works because they're all still synthetics. And if you notice closely, you can see that I actually melted them a bit. So to get this look of something this beautiful with all these layers, you'll have to melt it. Or I'm going to show you one that I'm not melting. Let me see. That's another one that's made with that fabric. And actually, oh, here's the back. So this is the outside fabric. It doesn't make as full of a flower. That's why I had to layer that one on with the other fabric so that I could get a fuller flower, but I had to do 2 layers, and I used 2 of the fabrics on this flower. It's still going to get more. They're still going to get more on top of them. They'll probably get some reds or the rest of the lace, which I'll show you. So there's a bunch that I've made. Okay, this one also has the wedding dress fabric, and then this is the one that was against the skin, the inside of the fabric also. And I'm going to probably do it like this one, probably, where I used the flower, and then I put some of the lace on top of it, and then I put a beautiful applique on top to top it off, and I attached it with a pearl. So that's probably what I'm going to do with it. Let's see, what else do I have? I'm going to put those all back in so that they're out of my way. I'm going to move, I guess I'll try to line these up. Maybe you guys could see them, so you guys see what I'm making these. Oh. Okay, so she must like red because she really wanted me to make flowers out of that fabric. Okay, so what I ended up with is I ended up cutting the fabrics, and I made as wide strips. So if I want a 7-inch flower, so we'll measure this one again. This is a different ruler, isn't it? This one happens to be about 7 inches. I try to cut it. No, it's about 6.5. I don't know. Yeah, so she wanted them from 6 to 8 inches large. So I started all of them at 8 inches. Okay. And then I added to them. And so you can see this has 3 things. This has red, something else, and then this is the fabric she gave me. Okay. Now over here, I'm going to pull some fabric so we can make one here. This is one I was going to use. So that's what I did. I cut the wedding dress up and made strips. This one is one of the ones I was recently doing, and I had a strip left. Let's see how wide I got this one. This one's actually 7 inches. I couldn't always get 8 inches, so sometimes I'd get 7 inches. So this is also, I'm going to tell you how long this one is. This one is 19 inches long by 7 inches wide. And we're going to make a flower out of it, and it's going to look a lot like this one right here, like this part. And this one will probably get something placed on top of it. Like over here, I have one part ready where I put some of the red fabric behind it, so it might look like that. Or I may add another white, but this is pretty much what I did. Okay, so right now I made a lot of the white ones. If you saw all those flowers, I still even have more over here, and I have some of the lace too. So it might get that, and then I might put this white lace on top, and then I might put a center in it. It could be red again. I don't know. Each of them are going to be different. Okay, so we're going to finish this one. I'm going to show you a trick if I can find the ruler. Yeah, here it is. I just started doing this because it's such large fabric. If you've seen my a la Liz technique technique flowers, that's what this is. I'm using the Liz technique. So I have detailed videos on that, but I'm going to show you how I'm making these ones. So here we go. This is what it's going to sort of look like. And this is what I'm using. Um, now the length can be different lengths. Sometimes I got 15 inches out. Sometimes I got 18 inches out. Sometimes I got 20 inches out. The longest ones I had were over 20 inches, but it was more for the light fabric. This one's a little thicker than that really thin lining fabric I was telling you about. So this is what I started doing because I hadn't really ever made this many large flowers. So I started getting my ruler. Let me tell you this ruler dimensions. This ruler is actually bigger than this ruler. You can see. So let's see how big this one is so you can see about how big I'm using it. Okay, it's what, about 1 2 3/8. It's 1 3/8 wide, but you can use whatever you have. But I'm using this one. Normally, I've shown you how to use my fingers. So at first, I was using 2 fingers to roll the fabric like this, and you can do it like this. You roll your fabric, and usually I line up here, and you just roll it around your fingers. Okay. That's what I was doing, and I made it nice and even. But I'm going to show you how I'm using this now. So instead of my fingers, if you can see, this is very close to the width of my 2 fingers. Look, that's why I chose it. You can see that it's very close to that. My 2 fingers are a little bit bigger. So all I did was the same thing as I'm wrapping it around. I'm doing it for your benefit so you could see it. There. I'm just wrapping it. Now I'm not making it really snug. I'm just rolling it, and I'm checking these edges to make sure they're rolling the same way. If you do have questions, I am looking to see if you ask questions. Okay, so now that I put it like that, you can see, then I'll line this up right here. I try to line that part up because the inside might be extra, but at least the outside I can line up. Okay, and you can snug it up. Usually I'll pull on this a little if I need more, or try to loosen it a little if I need less. But it's pretty loose. It moves quite easily in my ruler. See it? So that's how I would do it if I was going around my finger. And I remove the ruler. And now I have a strip. Let's measure this just so you can see. So now it's 1 3/4 about wide. That's because when you're layering it, yes, every petal will not be exactly the same. They'll be a little narrower or wider, each one. Then the next thing I do is that edge right here. You can start by snipping off the edge a little, like this. I'll do them both separate so you can see it. See that? And then you round this. Now, each fabric that you use to make your flowers, you may need shorter or longer length. It might work better for wider or longer. Remember, this one was 19 inches by, oh, what was it, 7? Okay, so I'm trying to keep as much of the width as I can, because I know that I want my flower to be from 7 to 8 inches. And actually, when I melt them a little bit on the edges, they basically can also get a little smaller. So when you're making this circle, think about thinking about the shape of your thumb. Think about my dirty nail thumb, because I've been doing a lot of stuff lately. And just think about that. Think about that shape of your thumb, and that's about the shape you want it. Oh, I'm just trimming the edge while I'm talking. Okay. Because normally I'd seal that, and I'm not going to seal that for you. If you don't know, I started crafting. When I started crafting, I made a lot of DIY tutorials. And the tutorials I have are a lot of flower making and some of my little miniature dresses. As I discovered more or created my own designs, I shared with you. Now I don't share very often, but I am sharing with you today. Now the other thing that I do is, let me find my other scissors I was using. I think I was using these. Is I'm going to cut it along this edge here. So I take it. Remember, these are petals. Let me show you the petals on this thing. Can you see how they actually look like petals? And they're actually deep. So when I cut them deep along here, so I'll take it, my scissors, and I'll put them in there, and I try to make sure I have all the petals and I cut them. Now, you don't cut all the way across. You leave the center. Leave the center. So I'm going to turn it this way and cut the other side. I'm going to find the center. I'm going to let you see. And I kind of look to see where I cut it, and that's where I cut. And I cut it. Now, how long down you cut has a lot to do with the fabric. I'm going to show you after I do this, I'm going to show you some of the red fabric, and I'll show you that I don't go as deep because when I experimented with it, it was not good to do that. Okay. All right. Now, see? Let me fold it so you could see. It's still rolled, and you can see I have a space there. I'm going to take these pieces and toss them. Okay. Now, at this point, you can unroll it. And now you have a whole bunch of petals. I don't know, for this one, let's see how many petals it has. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 on this side, so there's 11 on the other side. There's a total of 22 petals by just doing that simple thing, by showing you how I did that. And let me get a good pin. I've shown my technique for all of this technique. I use hairpins. Usually when I'm making something this large, I'll use the bigger hairpins. This hairpin, I think I found it like at Walmart or something, and it's curved. Okay. This hairpin is a thick hairpin. Also, it's a large, but it's still a little smaller than this one. And then here's the little smaller ones. See? And I just use the hairpins, and they really work well. There's not much sewing in this. Okay, so I'm going to take this, and I'm going to go down the center, and I'm going to gather it with a hairpin all the way down. Now, so I'm going to start here in the center and go down. And usually I'll gather it. But since this has a big hole right here, I usually gather it first before I go all the way to the end, and then I go to the end. And then I come here and I kind of go like this. I make sure they're kind of even. You may have to adjust it later still. You can see there's a petal starting to form, and you're going to see a flower come up between right in front of your eyes like magic. It starts forming a flower. See? So these beautiful large flowers. These ones I ended up layering, but this one does really well. Okay, at this point, I usually turn it around, but I'll keep it there so you can keep on seeing. So now the pin is just going right down the center, and it's between both sides. I'll show you when I'm done here. Okay, so the petals are between the pin. You can see it. And I showed you in a video before, usually a lot of times at this point is when I'll get the candle, and or you can use, let's see if I have one, a lighter. Here's a lighter. Here's a torch. I don't know if they work because I'm actually doing all my melting, a lot of it at the same time. And you hold a lighter to it and you melt it. As you can see, it melts. I'm not going to melt it all for you because I think that takes a long time. With the lighter, if you don't know how to use a lighter, you have to hold on to the lighter and tilt up so the flame doesn't burn you. And you go this way and you melt with the lighter. All of mine will be melted, and I am not going to melt them with you. A lot of times at this point, the other thing I'll do is, you can see it already looks like a flower. But a lot of times, especially for this large of a flower, I'll usually skip 2 petals, and then I'll pull 1 petal up. And then I'll skip 2 petals, and I'll pull 1 petal up. Skip 2, pull 1 up. And you can do this. And sometimes Hi Debbie. Hi, Debbie. I see you so much on Facebook. Well, I'm showing you how I'm making those big flowers I showed you guys on my Facebook page. So, the same thing, you can start wherever you want and just start. It does this is not this is only a part of me forming the flower ahead of time. You don't have to do this part now, you can do it later, but I find it easier for me to do it both. I'll do it now, and then I also do it, and this is giving you more of a layered look. See when I did that? Because the big flowers, look how pretty that looks already. Can you see all the layers? All right, then the next thing I use, which I show you in detail on my other flower videos. If you guys don't know, I have a playlist, and in my playlist, I try to put things in categories. So I think I have a playlist for all of my flower making videos. If you go into my homepage, you go into and you click on playlist up above, you'll find all of my flower videos in one place. Well, most of them, because I don't always update. So what I'll do, I did this without telling you what I'm doing. So, so now it's like this. Sometimes you have to hold on to this a lot, but since it's such a big pin, it's staying there. And what I'll do is I'll place one part of the string right between there, and the other part I just pull it. Oops. I pull one part right by that pin, one part through the pin, about halfway. Okay, like that. Oops. Let me try and put this a little more this way. There you go. Can you guys see better? Okay, so I put that in there. And this string that I used, this is a crochet string, and I doubled this one up because it's not extremely thick, and I know I might pull on it. And then when I'm making, just like if you're gonna tie your shoe, you first do a knot, but I do it twice, 1, 2. Sometimes I do it more, but the reason why I do it that much is because when you do that, it helps to keep it secure until you lock it. Now I do a gentle snug, not completely snug, and then I make sure, a lot of times you're right here, your string could be right on the pin, so I got make sure that's not right on the pin. I start pushing the pin out, and I snug a little more, and then I pull the pin out, and then here I go, and now I'll snug this up more, and then I'll do the knot on top right here. All right, so here's the flower. What do you think? That's without doing any more manipulating with it. It's so a lot of this ability, and then I also sear my edges. I'll show you on this one. You can see the difference. Yeah, these edges are raw here, and these are slightly sealed, and I might sear them a little more. I might use flame like I showed you here to do a little more on them. And usually one of the things you have to realize is I'm not always touching the flame to it. I have very detailed video using a candle that when I first started crafting, I didn't know what to do. So I started and I learned, and then I tried to teach people. So this is how the flower comes. And I usually take this and I go to the back and I put the string on the back. And I knotted it again. And sometimes it needs to be tightened even more. And then I hold the back, and then I kind of still fluff it up a little more. Just do a little, and it's just a messy flower. If it doesn't look good to you, like this one's actually looks fluffier than this one, you can do this to it. You can pull it up a little more, just do, you can see how it looks. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Debbie. So that is just using, this is a wedding dress fabric. It is not real thick satin. It's more like a thicker lining. It's thicker than let's see, than the one I used for this fabric. You know how, can you see the difference of those two? This is the difference of the fabric. This one I use a lot more fabric because it's a lot thinner. I probably used 20 yards of fabric for this flower. 20 yards. 20 inches of fabric. Let's see how wide that one is. This one is also 7 inches. So you can see how these look different. Some of it is a sealing. I did seal it, so it makes it look much more real when you seal and sear the edges. And then this one is just a different fabric. And I loved this fabric for a main flower, and I like that I could just put one layer and it's full and beautiful, and then I can add whatever centers I might want to put on it, or you know, or lace, because I have some lace that she also sent me that I'm putting on them. Okay, so that is the main way I made this big large flower. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I'm going to get prepped for the next part I'm going to show you. Here we go. Okay, here and here. Let me take a sip of water. Mm. So you can do this with smaller amounts of fabric also. So you can use chiffons. If you look at my flower tutorials, I have one showing you how to use chiffon. I show you how to use organza. I show you how to use folded ones. I show you roses, all those types of things. So we'll put those on the side. Okay, now this is the mesh that was from the dresses. This was one dress, very sheer. This is that mesh. It's really soft. Oops, soft. You know, it's just really soft and sheer. See, it was on top on the dress. So I knew I could make a flower out of this. The bottom portions of the other parts of the dress, I failed trying to make flowers with them. I don't know if one of my failures might, if I run into one of my failures, I'll show you. It's not a real failure. They look beautiful, or I'll show you this one. It looks beautiful. See, I call this my failure, but it's still beautiful. I tried making a puff flower, but I didn't like it. I didn't like how everything came together. And this was more like a rayon fabric, and it doesn't melt. So rayon or natural materials like real silk, um, synthetic silks melt very well, but rayons, they make good puff flower, but it was a real floppy rayon. So rayon can be floppy. So I put a layer of this is the wedding dress fabric underneath, and I made a puff flower. See, but I didn't like how it looked. I wasn't happy with it, so I basically didn't even show it to the customer. So unless the customer sees that, she's not going to see that one. So it's beautiful, and I'll probably use it in one of my projects, like maybe a wreath or something, if I make something with red, but I did not like it. And this was the other part of another dress. She sent me two red dresses. Oh, Debbie, you've made my flowers? Well, I'm glad. Hopefully you were successful. And if you have questions, you can also contact me. You can message me in the comments and stuff. And I try to get to almost all the questions, or you can go over to my hello, Martha from Texas. She's from South Texas. Um, I have this is the other fabric. You can see it's like a little flowers, and it has a little edge on it. Um, but this is the one I also, let's see, I just made a few of them. Okay, there you go. So I'm making little flowers with them. So I'll show you that one right now. And I'm using the same technique. And these ones, when I made, where is it? This one, she liked this combination. Oh, I'm glad, Debbie. I'm glad you were successful. So you can see I actually changed it, and it looks a little fuller. So I show samples, and then I kind of hopefully improve my petal making, and I prove using the fabric as I keep on going. And this is using the same technique. And here we go. So for this one, this fabric is 7 inches wide. Let me check how big this flower is, because it was just the right size. It's about 5.5. Let me see if I thought I had another smaller one cut. Maybe not. Okay. Well, we're going to keep it just like that, because I can always fix it if it doesn't work. Let's look at the length of it. The length of this fabric. This one is about 16 inches, 15, 16 inches long. This fabric, it stretches a little bit, has a little bit of a stretch. This way it doesn't stretch too much, but this way it does, the length of it. And I really just cut it from here. So this is how how wide it was. You know, it was long. And I had to cut it this way. So I didn't really pay attention to the stretch much when I was cutting it. I just made it the right length. And for this one, really, instead of rolling it, I think we're going to fold it. So you can see different ways. And also, sometimes when something stretches, it's better to fold it than rolling it. And so I folded it in half. I'm going to fold it in half again and again. Now I want you to show it to you the ruler. So when I do it, I also um, like check. I'll put my fingers on it, and sometimes I'll use 3 fingers. I'm sorry, I saw something about the sheer red mesh. Somebody asked. Please ask the question again because I don't see it. Wait, I see it. Almo de mosca. In Spanish, it's the sheer red mesh is almo de mosca. Oh, okay. I know that the netting is called like to keep away the moscos or the flies. So maybe that's where mosca comes from. So here I go. Now, I've already tested it and this size was pretty good. Alas wings. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Oh, they went off again. What happened? Live chat. Okay. It's there. So make sure you guys look at the messages because some of the ladies on there are telling you guys hi. Hi, everyone. I'm not paying real close attention to the messages, but here I am showing you how I make it. So I did the same thing. It's close to the shape of my thumb. It's just a lot wider. Okay. And I'm shaping, pretend like you're shaping a petal. Now, one of the things, if you have trouble doing stuff like this, you can actually cut a piece of cardboard and trace along it, but really they don't have to be exact. One of the things I did notice that what I was doing is I was making sure that I angled this kind of even on both sides because this one, I'm not going to do much trimming, but I want the petal to show. So I'm going to do a little more trimming on this one. Okay, just trimming off the edges there. So let's see. Show you what it looks like. See? Okay. And this one I'm going to make it a little more like that one, a little lower. On the last flower, remember we cut it this way. This time we're not. I found that let me show you this one. I cut that one this way and I didn't like how, see the little tiny strip? See that I cut the petal. See, and this time, this one that I made, I did not cut it very much. Look how little this one's cut. Because I found that it was just a little bit too deep. You see this one? It's just formed like a petal. I decided that I didn't want it cut that deep. So really, a lot of the flower making has to do with each fabric is different. Let me see how long this is now. This one's 6.5 inches now. So it's still pretty wide. So now you see all the petals. So I can count these petals with you. Now none of them are exact. If you can look at those, can you see them? Are they exact? No, sometimes when they're really bad, because I'm going to leave them, I might form them like this one looks a little pointy on the edge. So I might kind of form it a little more because I decided that this one, I'm not going to cut them really long. Sometimes the edge ones will do that. They'll give you a little extra. Sometimes you got to cut it off from this edge, but the way we folded it, oh, you can see a little bit here, but that's okay. All right, now I'm going to get this time I'm using this pin. You can use any pin you want. just showing you that you can use any pin. You don't have to use all that other pin I have. And again, go down the center. And then we're just going to gather it. That's all you do. See, you push. Now, sometimes when your pin starts getting caught on your laces, you can bend your pins up with pliers so that they don't stick so easily through a lace. This it's not doing it. The mesh is pretty small. And so you just keep on going till you get all of that lace. Okay. See how pretty? Now this is a very flat flower compared to the other, but you can see how the fabric kind of just falls over. You know, it just flops right over. So it's not gonna be anything that can stand up like this one. So this one stands up and this one just flops over. See? So every fabric you use is different. So I have to experiment with every fabric. And but I will still also, while I have it here, I'm still, because I do have it pretty long, I'll still kind of pull some up and pull some down. But the same thing. Here I go. I have a roll of my white thread. And this is the same big giant roll that I've been using since I started recording my flower videos. Okay, I'm putting it in the safety pin. Safety pin. It's not a safety pin. It's a hairpin, or also known as a bobby pin. And I doubled it. Pull out the pin. I usually tighten a little more when I get it halfway. Pull it all the way. And a lot of times when I have a lot of fabric, I'll hold it down while I'm pulling. Make sure. Now it's a circle and no sewing. Isn't that amazing? And things will be going on top of this. As I showed you here, this one has this on it, but I'm going to make one without. And you can see this flower. And then again, I will grab it here and pull this way and just make a nice big floppy flower. If you want, you can actually melt these a little bit, the laces, because they are synthetic, but really a little bit. You can see it kind of started burning a little, because I'm not used to using this like this. Okay, so you can a little, but and sometimes it strengthens it, but I don't think I'm going to do it for mine because I'm going to be layering them. So this is another layer. Okay, so I have all the reds. All right, now what else do I need to make? Okay, one more thing I was going to show you. I have, let's see. So I also have this velvet ribbon. It's like it's all full of white, but my customer had this and I knew I couldn't just make a flower with just this mesh. So I put different things behind it. I put this red velvet behind it. And then I realized I needed to make it fuller. So I added another red fabric behind it, which this is my first time. So I'll probably make it a little different, but that's what you see here in this beautiful red. It has layers, and I wanted to be thick because if you think about it, these are going on the tree and they kind of shouldn't be just flat. So that's why I'm trying to make them thick. So I'll show you how I did it with, now let me show you what this looks like. I have another one here. I don't know where this one is. I think this one's might be a slightly different color. It is. Well, this is the kind I'm using. Christmas velvet ribbon jumbo roll. And this stuff is made for indoor outdoor use usually. I don't know if this new roll is. Yeah, it is. So it has the velvet on this side and has almost like a plastic feel on the other side. And this one is full of lint because I've had it out. So what I did is I cut a portion. I think, let me check how many petals I put on this one. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 8 petals. So to make 8 petals, I need 4 strips. Did I tell you how wide this was? I haven't told you how wide this is. This is about 2.5 inches, this one. That one is also 2.5 inches. So I'm going to cut this into 4 pieces. Oops, I'm getting out of the frame. And how long did they come out? These are a little bigger than 8. Remember, I'm making these around 7 to 8. So I am going to, these ones are, I made this look almost like a poinsettia, as you can see. So I have a tip kind of on it. These will not be melted. So I want to shape my petals. I think I'll do 2 at a time. I'll do 2 and I'll face them to each other. This one's going to be a little different. See how easy these poinsettias are to make. There you go. I don't remember if I folded it, but we'll try it. See what I'm doing? All right, now I want to cut it like this to make a poinsettia type petal. See if this looks like a poinsettia. Did I do it right? I don't know. It's close enough. There you go. That's close enough, I think. I might have made these pointier. Let's see. I did make these pointier, see? So I'm going to pointy these a little more too. As you can see, it's not like, I'm never perfect with everything. I'm going to try and make it a little more pointy. A little more pointy. Okay, now let's do the other ones. Put them on top of each other. I'm also using the a la Liz technique for these ones. So I folded the other one. This one I'm not going to fold. Just going to eyeball it and see what happens. Wow, that might be too pointy. We'll see. Let's see how long they are. They're 7.5 for the up to the 7.5, about 7.5 up to the point. That's close. Taking my pieces. I'm a very messy crafter, and I have worked really hard to put away stuff, like throw away the pieces, and I still have them all over my floor. Okay, so we're going to also get a pin. We're going to use a la Liz technique on these also. Okay, so about halfway, you're going to put it through. I'm just gathering it. It's a little different to work with because it is have a plastic backing. Can you see a poinsettia already forming? Right? Hopefully yours won't have all this white on it because I've been working with the wedding dress. Okay, again, the half, about half, and I'm just gathering it. And I think sometimes the poinsettias have, I don't know if they have 8 or they have 6, but these ones, because it's more like a flower, I'm making it 6. I wanted to make sure it was full, and it was gonna, so that right there can make a flower. But I decided to add one more because I did it over there. So we are going to do one more. And I could change my mind. I could change them to a total of 6 petals. But right now, the last one I did was 8. And so I will sometimes make changes depending on how I think my pieces look. So on the pin. It's kind of staying there, but I'm going to hold this one a little lot more because it looks like it is going to come off. Here I am with my string, and now I got to cut it. So I like to use the string. I say you can use, I use wire sometimes. My sister, I was teaching her how to make them, and she was using the wire a lot, but I prefer the string. I feel like I could form it better, and I will use wire to put them together sometimes. Okay. Like I said, sometimes it's on top of the pin and it doesn't clear the string. And you got to hold this while you're doing it. Made it nice and snug. When you double do that knot, it helps it to stay down instead of loosening. So you can see what it looks like right now. So I'm just going to take my petals and kind of form them a little more. So as you can see, less petals might work, but I chose, and you can see it changes the shape of them. And it is the bottom layer. Okay, so there's that. So what I did with this one is I put a red on top like that. See? Or I'm planning to use this one too. I'm planning to interchange them now. I made one with that mesh, and now I'm going to use this one too on some of them. Let's see. Next I have, I think if I can find this fabric, we can make this one. Let's see if where I put that fabric. Oh, it's right here. Look. I just used it. Oh, hey, look, here's my one of the ones my customer did not like. That was a gold one, but she didn't send me any gold fabric, so I used my own fabric, and then I put I think this one was on top of this actually, like that. She just didn't like this gold. Her gold must be the more brighter gold. This is a satin fabric with a lace gold. It's beautiful, right? But it's not her style, and that's exactly when you have customers, you want to make what they want. So it actually adds a lot when you have customers, because you basically have to, I send them a lot of photos. I send a lot of photos. So this is the fabric I had used. It's a vintage fabric, a new vintage fabric. I don't know how old it is or anything. I just knew I could use it for Christmas time, so I picked it up. And what I'm doing is I had to cut a piece. I did not plan to make this flower, but since I have a few people watching, I will. Let's see how wide this one was. No, it's about 8. Okay. I'm gonna measure about 8 inches to make it 8 inches wide. And I'm tearing the fabric. If you hear what you hear back there is me tearing fabric to make a strip like I showed you on the other ones. I'm making a strip. Okay. All right, I cut my strip, but let me show you this gold one. So I was trying to make a gold, and then I felt like it wasn't getting enough support for such a large flower, and I was going to put this mesh on top of it. And I put this gold, and I made a lot like the poinsettias. I used a ribbon, and I really like that. It looks pretty, but it's not her style, and that makes sense to me. Your customers are not going to always, that combination looks okay, but she didn't really, it was not her preference. So that's why I removed this, so I can reuse this one. That's why we have a partially made one. So that was one I didn't use also. So again, here's my red strip. And I think I remember that when I made it, it was too big. See, there we go. So I'm going to cut this. I'm going to make this one 15 inches. Well, no, I'm going to leave it 18 inches long, and it is about 8 inches wide. So it's going to make a big flower. Now we are going to use the same technique I used earlier for the white ones. And I'm still might adjust this one. I might make adjust the petals a little more. I think I made those ones a lot wider. So again, I showed you how I put it on the ruler. This is just new. This is a new tip. I've never shown you before. Because I always come up with different ways of doing things, especially when I was working with these when you're working with the big fabric, I was having trouble putting it on my finger. The smaller fabrics are easy to, pretty, good, easy to manage, but the big was a little hard. So I'm rolling it onto here. I'm watching to make sure here I'm kind of lining up. And then I'm looking, make this kind of, I pulled on this side to make it even. You can see it's off a little. I'm going to pull until they're about the same width, but not too tight that you can't get it off, okay? This one's a little snugger than my other one was, but I'm going to pull the ruler out now. And now these are going to be our petals. Look how long that is. I'm going to make it a little bit, yeah, I can go, I'm going to make, as I cut the petals, I'm going to cut a little bit off, okay? I think when I made this one, I made the petals pretty pointy. I don't know if I want them pointy or not, but I will make them a little pointy. See what happens. And this is going to be smaller because, oops. I think I changed my mind. I'm going to make them rounded. Look at how I made a mistake. You see, I made them round. The reason I want to make them rounded, I think, is because I did sear the edges a little bit of this fabric. And so the point will just disappear anyway. About the shape of my thumb. This one, I gave it nice, big, long petals. So I'm going to do the same. Oops. I'm going to toss this. There we go. What do I do with my other scissors? I'm sure are there. I use these scissors because it helps me to know about the blade is longer. So it helps me to know about how long to cut it. See the blade? I'm using the blade as my tool to measure. So that's why I'm using those ones for cutting this part, because I want it to be, here you go. Remember, we're not cutting all the way through. These ones are, there you go. I left some there. All right. I'm not going to sear these again. I will do that. I have a detailed tutorial on what I learned about that, but now I will tell you that now a lot of times when I do seal by hand, I use one of these types of torque lighters most of the time. That one's really crooked on the end there. Can you see that? I'm going to go ahead and cut that one off. That was, I think, was probably the inside layer, inside one. And this was the outside. So the outside one, I try to make sure it's even, but the one that was inside sometimes doesn't come out even. Okay, now let's get another pin. Oh, got two pins here. Again, the same technique. Now this fabric, let me see, it's pretty light. As you can see, it's pretty floppy. So I really wanted it to fill out that flower, but my customer liked the red there. So again, let's see what it comes out like. And after I do this one, I may change it up because I may not like how the fabric is with such a large petal. I may say, oh man, I got to make those petals whiter. Or I may say, I don't want to, I need to not cut them as much because it's too floppy, which may be the case in this one because it needs to be the support on the back. And I may cut this less like I showed you with the other one. We'll see. And maybe I'll shorten it. Maybe I'll use less fabric. As you have to experiment with all the fabrics that you use. This fabric has like a red metallic thread in it. Okay, let's flip you around so you can see. All right, open you up. There you go. Yes, I talk to my flower making. Okay, well, if you have any questions, make sure you answer them now because I'm probably not going to be on much longer. This is Liz with Crafty Devotion. Thank you for coming to watch, and I'm sure if you are not watching this live, you can leave a comment also, and I'll try to answer you, but can you see this one? See how pretty? It makes a beautiful flower. I think the looks pretty good. Let me see. I'm holding it while I'm cutting my string because this fabric feels like it's slipping. Okay. Sometimes I pull up in the wrong place. There you go. Again. One, two to tie it. Pull. That one was on top of the pin. So I pushed it halfway through to re-snug it again. Remove the pin. Tighten. Knot. Now, if you ever do this and it's loose, then what I usually do is I pull it to the back. And then I snug it again, nice and tight. And not so tight you're going to break your thread, okay? Because I do put over it again. I put, I might attach a center or something like that. So right now, without, you caps again. Oh, all right, Debbie. I think I'm going to show you, put up a little bit more here. I'm going to put them together so you can see how that looks. And I always pull them downward. A lot of times the places right here, you might want to pull upward like this, grab them right here and pull upward, and that will help to form your flower too. If you notice, this last time I didn't go through and pull any of them up, but I will do that. Sometimes I'll pull the ones that are naturally coming upward, and it helps with the big ones. And again, this will still be, I'll still sear this one with fire to give it a little bit more form, but you can see how pretty that looks. It's just gorgeous. And what I did is I used that. I placed this on top, and then I place, where's the other one that I had? Here. Then we can place this on top like that. And you can see it makes a beautiful full flower, dimensional colors with dimension here. And I'm using actually 3 toppers. Let me show you these are the centers I'm using. I purchased these when my sister was in Fresno at the warehouse that I don't go at anymore. Now I'm in Idaho. She showed me these and I said, buy a bunch of those. And so I'm using these as the centers. These are not in my shop because I only have this amount, but these are going to be perfect for her things. And then I had this white with gold, and they were perfect for this project. My customer loved them. She liked the elegance they added to her thing rather than putting like a bunch of bling, because the bling would, I'd have to charge her for the blings that I use. These were a little bit more reasonable for the pricing. As you can see on this one, we're going to put one together. I have a piece of lace and I use the same technique as I showed you earlier. This one is a fabric lace she sent me. See this? This is what's left of it. It's, I don't know, it's about a yard. And I cut it and I made several of these. So we take a big flower like this, and I take this one, put it on top, and I'm going to also change up this one, and sometimes I'll put this on there, and then sometimes I will put, oh, where's the white one? This one, like that, and then other times I will put a red, maybe. I may not keep the lace for the red, with no lace probably. You see that? And again, this one, I'll layer it this one of these nice big pieces here. Oops, and where's the gold? There you are. I'm not sure what it'll look like with the white on top, but I don't know. But I'll put the gold. And I have one more thing to show you guys. I know. Over here. I am also making these flowers right here. And this can go on there. So it'll all be stacked together and it'll end up being a nice full flower. And if you can see, I probably will cut these a little not as far down because this is supposed to be the back stabilizer. Sometimes the heat and sealing them will help that part. Let me see, where is that trim? I want to show you one more thing before I go. One more thing. Oh, let me see. I saw a nice tutorial. Okay, I've made flowers. Martha, hi Martha. Learning from your tutorials, all done with recycled material, 60, 50-year-old lace, tablecloth, and old lace curtains, just for fun. Thanks for sharing. Oh, you're welcome, Martha. You're welcome. As you can see, I also have a lot of things in my shop. I'm looking for that lace trim. Let me go grab some. I want to show you how I made this one right here. Let me grab some. All right, sorry. So this is the trim I used. I have this in my shop. I don't know if I'm going to restock it, but I probably will because it's been selling quite well. And so this is how I made the flower using the a la Liz technique. I cut off 3. I'm going to make, here's 3 and 3. So right now I have green, blue, red, oops, silver, and gold. That's what I have right now. So I took the same thing, very, very simple. On this one, it might be good to use the smaller pin. Let me see if I have a smaller pin. There's a smaller one because it's something smaller. And I usually pull on this part of the sequin. As you can see, it's like a red mesh with gold. And then I just go straight down the center. You'll be surprised how easy this one is to make. The same thing. I don't know, when I learned how to, when I came up with this idea on using the pins for making the flowers, it really, really helps a lot. So as you can see, the gorgeous little flower. Sometimes when I'm making something small, I might not fold up the string, because I usually fold it and make it doubled. Depending on the string you have, because there's actually thicker crochet string Then this one, a double knot, pull, check. You can't even see you can't even see the pin. I got to pull the thread to the side. Now the pin popped out. Tighten again, pull it out, tighten again, knot, pull to the back, and you could knot that or not. And then I usually form it a little bit because I like the sequin to show, so I pull up the sequin with that little flower. So see, you can see I'm trying to pull up that little sequin and push it upward so it's showing a little more. See how pretty? Look at it's glittering. And then you do the same thing with the gold. And so I'll probably put gold ones and the red and gold both, and kind of I'm going to interchange it as I make these flowers. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I know it's kind of long, but if making these flowers, you could see it takes a long time. And if you see me make flowers and you see my prices, that's because they take me a while to make. And this is an easy technique. Can you imagine those people who make the flowers and every single petal they sew, hand sew, and oh gosh, that's a lot of work. So I always um, enjoy those beautiful flower making, but I sure won't make them all the time. Well, before I got so busy in my Etsy shop, I thought about making a series and trying out all those different types of petal flowers, but I didn't do it. Takes a long time to make videos. That's why you see me just sometimes coming on live when I'm doing a project. But I get orders every single day, and I ship them, I pack them, and I ship them. Those types of things. I have a lot of things in my Etsy shop, and I usually put a link to my Etsy shop in the description box. So there's the gold one, there's the red one. So that's what I do with that fabric, and that beautiful glittery lace. I really like it to make little flowers. Okay, thank you guys for watching, and share my channel with your friends. And maybe if you didn't come on early, I did in the beginning show you some brand new embroidered laces that I got in my shop. And I really did sell quite a bit already. I've probably, half of what I got purchased. So check out my shop, Crafty Devotion, on Etsy. And there's a link in the description box. Talk to you guys next time. Bye. Well, I think it's bye. I forgot how. Oh, there you go. You want to stop streaming? Okay.